All right, welcome back to Life Fit with DVD. Thanks for being here. Today, I wanted to talk about being intentional or being played, right? Which are you going to choose? Um, this is a more important thing than ever in our society right now is being intentional with our actions and our behaviors. And as I talk a lot about here, that comes back to being aware. Where is your awareness? What is it focusing on? Is it just drifting away into something mindless? Are you just sitting here scrolling and not thinking about anything? Are you just trying to disappear from the world? As many things have been put in front of us to do, our phones, our food, our TV, televisions, our screens. There's so many things that right are part of modern society that don't actually serve us as humans. They're designed to distract, provide dopamine hits, get us hooked on some sort of addiction, pleasure, reward scenario that ultimately sends us through these emotional feedback loops and wires our brain to just be more distracted. And the reason that this is so important, right? Being intentional, being aware of what you're doing, is that habits stack, habits compound. What you're doing in this minute is probably going to be your trajectory for the next 10 minutes or the next hour or the next week or the next year. So if we think about it on that, if we think about this present moment holding power and being intentional with it, we can begin to start stacking our habits to create a more intentional identity, intentional person. And what we want to focus on is who we are becoming. It's so easy to just, you know, get distracted and get stuck in these feedback loops that are provided by social media or even something as simple as going and you do something and then you reward yourself with a cookie. Well, maybe next time, yeah, you continue to eat and you know maybe like that reward becomes bigger, or maybe it just becomes about, oh, I looked at social media and I saw something I didn't see or I didn't like, and now I just want comfort. I just want that hit. I just want that dopamine so that I can feel better, right? Because then you feel better in the short term, and um, ultimately it's about really just hooking into these into the mind and taking back control of it. And if we are having physical things like a cookie or treats or snacks and things that we know are not good for us, well, that compounds that opposite direction that we want to go, right? Do we want to be healthy? Do we see ourselves as healthy? Right? A lot of these things come back to the beliefs. If we're not being intentional with the beliefs, well, if we don't believe that we deserve to have the body we want, or if we don't believe that we're worthy of having this job or certification or whatever, then, well, we're going to procrastinate. We're not going to take steps to be that person that we want to be. So all of these things come back to intentionality and being focused on what we want to become, and not just a physical and mental kind of plane, but what is the psychology? What are the emotions around achieving this thing that you want to achieve? Because it starts with you. You don't even need to achieve it. If you just focus on what would it take to do that, to achieve that goal or to be that thing, and then just focus on those beliefs that somebody that was already doing it has to have to succeed at that thing, just focus on those and just focus on what wins, right? What's going to work. And maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know what it takes. But you can easily just look it up, right? Follow on the backs of those that have done it before. I mean, you can shadow people, you can just do internet research. I mean, sometimes you need to be in that experience. So, I mean, research will only take you so far, but having that experience and reaching out and saying, even if it's something you don't know if you want yet, right? It helps to get more experience and information to determine whether you want that thing or not. And that's about being intentional. So ultimately, this goes back to stacking our habits with our intention. Because when we already have good habits, if we stack additional good habits, things we want to become, with those things that we're already doing, right, it makes it much easier to actually continue doing those things over time. And this is how you can hijack and continue to build your way into that person, right? So we might find that along the way that there's things that we have to do, we don't want to do, and ultimately are distractions. But the important thing in this is bringing back that awareness to, why am I doing this thing? Why do I have to do this thing? I know I don't want to do this thing, but if I do this thing and I just take care of it, focus on it, be intentional on getting it done, then you can go back to focusing on the things that you want to be and you want to do, and the things that bring you joy and passion into your life. So there's a lot of different reasons that we need to be intentional, but this also goes a layer deeper, because it's not just a physical, emotional, psychological thing at this point. It's become spiritual. There's so many things that are in this world that are, in social media, that are possible through technology, through what research has been done to hack the mind, that has allowed people that you don't know who they are. They have no names, right? They work for companies that you have no idea what they're doing, but they're researching on how to grab your attention, how to hack a human being, and you are the target. You are the target. And this is so important to have at the forefront of your mind, that every day when you go out into the world and you look at your phone just for a temporary escape or whatever, what they're doing is hacking your mind and throwing things in front of you that they want you to think about, or that they would rather get a rise out of you, trigger your emotions. Doesn't have to be positive or negative, right? It can be disgust, anger, sadness, all sorts of things that spike that dopamine, that get that emotional hook in you, that distracts you from your current moment, and that will make you dwell on it as opposed to focusing on your life and being present in it. And this is such an important thing, that it becomes a spiritual battle of, what are you focusing on? Because what you focus on is going to become you, or your reality. And I mean, this gets into some very, very deep levels of, what is real? Where is technology taking us? And maybe this is something to talk about, at a different time. But being intentional with our intention, right? If we are not doing that, we're gonna get played by the people that are creating these algorithms, that want us to focus on the distractions, that want us to go buy something, that will throw something in our face, throw a commercial in our face about food, and then we'll say, oh yeah, we're hungry, like let's go out to Arby's and get this burger or something like that. It doesn't even have to be something as blatant as that, but these things are more subtle. And if we're not aware of what we're putting in front of our face, right, we're going to become those things that we fear, that we hate, that disgust us. Right? So it's so important to cut out the noise. And I don't even really want to say cut out the noise, but just focus on what you need to do to win the day, or what you need to focus on in that moment, and just hijack the current moment to make it yours and bring it back to you and what you want to become and what you want to be conscious of, what matters to you. And that's how you begin hijacking your life to create a better future. And obviously this is hard, right? It's very hard because there's many distractions. There's many things that are we're getting pulled into many different directions. We have lots of responsibilities, more responsibilities than we've ever had before. So this comes back to being intentional too with our, what is the most important? How are the priorities that give us purpose in our life? If we take some time, right? If we feel ourselves getting distracted and we're getting, we can kind of feel our nervous system, like our body clenching up. Well, we take our deep breaths, as we talk about all the time, right? Maybe we meditate, maybe we get into our body with some exercise, we go out in nature, we change our environment, change rooms, do something to get out of that present moment. That will allow us to take our consciousness back and start to focus on the things that we need to again. Not the things that are distracting us, right? But sometimes, of course, there are things that are urgent and will distract us, right? Take a deep breath. We can do many of these same things, right? But it brings us back to the calmness, being king, right? Having that inner stillness, that whatever happens, right, we're just going to deal with it. We're just going to deal with it. We're going to deal with it in the present moment as best as we possibly can. And then we'll just get back on track, right? Things happen, and ruminating about the future that doesn't exist yet, or reliving the past based off of fears and anger and trying to avoid what has happened, right? These things don't matter because they don't exist yet. All that matters is being intentional in the now, in the present moment, and focusing on what it is that we want to create. And we can do it. We can. But obviously, it's a difficult process sometimes. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of practice and stacking these habits, bringing our attention back to the present moment. And that's a skill. That's a skill that can be learned. But we got to work at it. Like anything else, it's about practice. So I hope some discussion around this topic of being intentional or being played was helpful today. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. If you stuck with me this far, thank you for watching, and let me know how you hack your own current moment in time. Are you focused on you? Are you learning from your experiences and trying to hone them into being somebody better than you were yesterday? Let me know how you do that. It'd be interesting to hear. So once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.